What's going on, you guys? So the Las Vegas Raiders are inching. I want to say inching closer to training camp. The 17th is when the rookies report to training camp, and then a couple days after that, obviously, the veterans will be showing up. So we have a month where we just sit here. You guys know that meme where that guy's just kind of, he's sitting at his kitchen table, he's sitting on a porch swing and just thinking about life. Like, that's where we're at right now until football starts. So, I definitely commiserate with that. And I know that now we are, I don't want to say scrounging for content, but we're getting in a spot where we look and we can speculate. We can really have some fun with the content heading into the Raiders offseason and everything. So, a couple of different things to cover for with the Raiders' latest news. Silly Songs with Larry, been a minute for it, but overall, there's a lot of things going on with the Raiders right now. So obviously, yes, we've seen mandatory minicamp, we've seen all those things happen so far, and it's looking good. I'm not going to lie to you, I'm really excited. But the key piece of what's going on happened yesterday when former first-round pick by the Raiders, or former Raiders first-round pick, Henry Ruggs, was basically came out and apologized to the family. And those of you that don't know the situation, obviously Ruggs has been in prison after a couple of years due to charges that happened a couple of years ago, where, and unfortunately, and again, prayers for the family after all this time, that someone was killed after he was driving recklessly over 100 miles an hour, killing a young woman and her dog. Now, essentially, he has gone to prison, and I believe he's actually scheduled to be out next year, but there's rumors that he could be out earlier than that. And again, first of all, prayers for the family involved, because that is the most important thing when we sit and talk about this. A caveat to that is the fact that I think everybody kind of looked at it that, okay, when he gets out, he could be 26, 27 years old. He could make an NFL comeback, and sure enough, that was the major headline coming out of it yesterday, was that Henry Ruggs could potentially make a comeback into the NFL. Now, a couple of different things with this. Obviously, when he talked about it, that was the number one thing. He says he could, turn back time, apologize to the family, which, I mean, that's the most important thing. After that, I think that when it comes to the question of Henry Ruggs and should he make a comeback with the Raiders specifically, I mean, if you look at him, he was an absolute dog out there at Alabama, made a lot of plays for him. Even with the Raiders, he was pretty good. Let's be real. I think that ultimately, when he was given the chance back then, when it was Derek Carr, like, he was really starting to come alive in 2021 before the whole situation happened there. And it's really unfortunate. Like we said, I think he would have been a 1,000-yard receiver that year, maybe even a 5, 6, 7, 8 touchdown type a year guy. But overall, with how things played out, he was really playing well. And so I think it comes back to the fact that with a guy like Henry Ruggs, it would be a spot where it's a tryout. It is definitely seeing where he's been at, how he's doing, and all that kind of stuff. And so, overall, I think it would be interesting to see him potentially come back as early. Whether it's this year or next year, doesn't matter. I think that overall, you have to be tantalized by it. He is a very good player, former first-round pick, like we mentioned. Can stretch the field, can do a lot of different things for your offense, and still, if he is in fact still in shape and can still do the thing, which I know he can. So, I think it's still interesting because, again, there's a lot that goes on with this, but Henry Ruggs coming out and saying that, or at least putting it out there. Number one, apologizing for his actions, and number two, going on maybe potentially making an NFL comeback would be very, very interesting. Speaking of very, very interesting, Damon Arnette. So, for those of you that don't know, Damon Arnette was basically a stud coming up out of Ohio State and had a long story short, had a lot of run-ins with the law while he was a former first-round pick, also first-round pick with the Raiders back in the day, coming up out of Ohio State, like we mentioned. He has indeed himself signed a contract with the Houston Texans, where it's very, very interesting. And like we said, he was an absolute stud over there at Ohio State, having over 140 career tackles, 5 interceptions for 132 yards and a touchdown that he returned back in his senior year there with Ohio State, and then came into the NFL. And he was, I think he was having some modest stats, but overall, I think that he was heading in the right direction. And I think he was going to do something special. I think he was developing into that solid zone corner that can play on the inside and the outside. And, he had all the physical tools that you want. 6 foot, $190, could run a 4.5, 4.4 around there. And like I said, I think that overall, it's great that he's getting another chance. It seems like, he is making the most out of his opportunities after he was given a chance last year I believe it was with the USFL, if I'm not mistaken. But overall, it's really good to see a guy like Damon Arnette get another opportunity. I actually really was high on him coming out of the draft, and I understand that a lot of people want to come out and say that he was. A lot of people could say that they saw the red flags. I think it was John Gruden who came out and said that, and ultimately lost out on Mike Mayock to draft him, which again is neither here nor there. But the signing with the Texans, I think, is very good for Damon. I think he is going to have an opportunity to potentially salvage his career, and I'm excited for him. I think this is a step in the right direction. Good to see for him, and it's not like the Texans don't have needs at corner as well. So also. You gotta love Jackson Powers Johnson. The former stud center coming up out of Oregon and coming into his second year with the Raiders. I'm really excited for him, but one thing he did talk about with Sports Illustrated is how well this team is gelling and how well things are coming together, and I'm really excited for it because, with what we've seen with Pete Carroll, it really is going to be a matter of how well this team gels, and according to Jackson Powers Johnson, JPJ, everybody's staying around longer. They want to be around each other. I think that's really important, especially when you are building a culture, building a team back from scratch after, having all the inconsistencies, we'll call it, over the last couple of years with the Raiders, but now that the organization is putting into place more features, or at least more things where everybody's feeling like they're a lot closer, and for team chemistry and camaraderie, I think it's big. And so, like I said, JPJ, I also think he's going to have a big year in year two, so that's going to be a lot of fun to see. But, I'm not going to lie. I really feel like the vibe coming out of Raiders minicamp and mandatory minicamp and all that kind of stuff, like, this feels good. And I'm not just saying that because, we say that every year being a fan, but I really feel like Pete Carroll has shown a history of building a program, and with what we've seen, like just, feeling how this entire offseason has gone, this feels like it could be a pretty good team. Now, playoffs, that remains to be seen and all that, but I think with how much that they've done offensively, the defense is still largely intact, even though they got a couple of big-time playmakers. I think that things are really looking good for the Raiders. But overall, let us know what you guys think about our latest Raiders news. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and we'll see you on the next video.